My dad doesn't know this, but I heard him tell another man he wished his kid were his son instead of me. So I gave him exactly what he asked for. And now I treat him like a stranger. Was 10 when I realized. I was just a placeholder in my own home. My dad, David, was a man's man. He wanted a son who'd break ribs on the football field. I was the son who preferred architectural sketches and quiet rooms. I always felt the gap between us, but I never knew how deep the canyon was until the night of his 45th birthday party. I was heading to the kitchen to get a soda when I heard voices in the garage. It was my dad and his best friend, Marcus. Marcus was bragging about his son getting a D1 scholarship. The silence that followed was heavy. Then I heard my father's voice, thin, sharp, and full of a resentment I didn't know he carried. You're lucky, Marcus, my dad said. I heard the clink of a beer bottle. I look at your kid and see a legacy. I look at mine and see a stranger. Honestly, every day I wish your boy was mine instead of him. I'd give anything to swap. Marcus muttered something about me being a good kid. Good isn't enough, my dad snapped. He's just there. He's not mine. Not really. I didn't cry. Something inside me just clicked off. It was like a pilot light going out. I walked back to my room, sat at my desk, and stared at the wall. I realized then that I was grieving a man who was still alive in the next room. From that moment, I started the great withdrawal. I stopped asking him for help with homework. I stopped telling him about my day. When he'd try to make small talk at dinner, I'd give him one-word answers. How was school? Fine. You want to catch the game tonight? Busy. He didn't even notice at first. In fact, he seemed relieved. He had more time to spend at Marcus's house watching his son play ball. He was getting exactly what he wanted. A life where I didn't inconvenience him with my existence. The emotional detachment wasn't a choice. It was a survival tactic. I became a ghost in the house. I worked 3 jobs, saved every penny, and spent my time at the library. I stopped looking him in the eye. When you stop looking at someone, they start to lose their power over you. The cold revenge started the day I turned 18. I had been accepted into a top-tier architecture program 3 states away with a full ride. I didn't tell him. I packed my life into 4 boxes while he was at work. When he walked in, I was standing by the door with my keys on the counter. Where are you going? He asked, looking confused. Away, I said. My voice was flat. No anger, no heat, just data. For how long? Is this a trip? No, I'm moving. I won't be back. He laughed, a nervous, jagged sound. Don't be dramatic. You can't just leave. Who's paying for your life? I am, I said. I've been planning this since I was 10. Since the night in the garage, David. He froze. The color drained from his face. The name David hit him harder than a physical blow. You heard that? I heard everything, I replied, checking my watch. You said you wished Marcus's son was yours. You said you'd give anything to swap. Consider the deal done. You don't have a son anymore. You just have a memory of a kid you didn't want. Son, wait, I was drinking. I didn't mean. I cut him off. I'm not your son. I'm just a guy who lived in your house for 18 years. You got your wish. You're free. I walked out. I didn't look back at the house. I didn't look back at the man standing in the driveway. 6 years passed. I became successful. My firm is doing well. I have a life filled with people who actually see me. I never blocked his number. I wanted him to see my life from the outside. He sent texts. Hundreds of them. I'm proud of you. Can we talk? I'm sick. I'd love to see you. I never replied. Not out of malice, but because I truly felt nothing. He was a stranger. The twist came last month. Marcus's son, the legacy, was arrested for a massive fraud scheme that wiped out Marcus's savings and put the family in total ruin. My dad, who had tied his identity to that family, was devastated. He lost his social circle, his pride, and his proxy son all at once. He showed up at my office last Tuesday. He looked old, gray, small. He sat across from my desk trembling. I just wanted to see you, he whispered. I made a mistake. A horrible lifetime mistake. Please, I'm your father. I looked up from my blueprints. I didn't feel a surge of triumph. I didn't feel hate. I just felt the same professional politeness I'd give a courier. I'm sorry, sir, I said, my voice steady and cool. Do you have an appointment? He flinched. Stop it. Stop calling me that. I'm David, your dad. David, I repeated, tasting the name. Right, I remember you. You're the man who lived next to Marcus. I hope he's doing well. He's not, David choked out. Everything is gone. I have nobody. I stood up and smoothed my suit jacket. That sounds difficult, but I have a meeting in 5 minutes. If you're looking for family, I suggest you call Marcus's son. After all, he's the one you wanted. I called my secretary on the intercom. Sarah, can you show this gentleman out? He's lost. As he was led away, he started to sob. Loud, ugly sounds that echoed in the hallway. My staff looked uncomfortable. I just sat back down and picked up my pen. He wanted a son who wasn't me. Now he has exactly what he asked for. Absolutely nothing.